Yo, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Mostly Low Budget Movie Reviews. I am your host, Clarence. Thank you for tuning in. As you guys know, I will pretty much watch anything, and a lot of that content, or maybe I take that back, maybe half of the content I watch ends up on this podcast. And my original focus during the whole pandemic thing, when I started doing this podcast, was smaller, low-budget movies. Because with the theaters closed, all you had was just streaming stuff and, Redbox or whatever. So I kind of wanted to focus on that, and I don't allow the budget or who's starring in it to get in the way of what I watch, because you could be missing out on a really good movie, some hidden gems in there. So I truly believe that these smaller movies deserve some shine. Now, today is one of those episodes where I get back in my low budget bag. And for full disclosure, I have to tell you guys I was sent this link specifically to review the movie. However, I'm still going to give an honest review, which is what they expect as well. So first off, I'd like to thank them for sending me the link and allowing me to review, their movie. I mean, we all start somewhere. Now, I started this just for fun, for friends and family, just messing around to listen to. And now I actually have people, strangers that listen to my podcast and, get something out of it, get some enjoyment, and, enjoy my content. And in this case, I've had a few people reach out and allow me to review their work. So that's pretty big deal to me, and I definitely appreciate it. And as you guys know, I usually do no research for the most part, but I wanted to make sure I shouted these names out so I could play some small role in them getting some exposure. Now, the movie is from Studio Silent, called A Touch of Vengence, starring Leona Clark, Martin, Nadine, and Paul Jonah. Forgive me if I butcher any of these names. It's directed by Jordan Kane Lewis, who also shared writing duties with Lucy Ingram. Now, it's listed as an action drama and has a runtime of 61 minutes. So what is this one about? Well, we start out with this hitman who does a job which, goes well, spoiler-free, and he appears to be placed on retainer to stay in town and do a few more jobs. Now, he's called to an apartment on a rather easy, routine cleanup job, I'll call it. And things take a very unexpected turn. And that's where I'll stop. Because from there, which was probably a bad idea, he decides to embrace the situation and help out as best he can. So what did I think? Well, let me start with the positives and let me get the basics out of the way first. I really like the look of the film. Now, it's in black and white, which was a good choice for the story, which is kind of dark in nature. I can't even really imagine this being in color, so I definitely saw the vision on what they were going for here. The sound quality was also pretty good. I've had some other low-budget movies that I've received, and I haven't reviewed them on this podcast. And not to throw shade at anybody or say anything bad, because we all, like I said, we all got to start somewhere. But, some people didn't even bother to get like a lot of the basics down. And two of the big ones are the lighting and the sound, which in this case are really good here. Now, just because you have a micro budget doesn't mean you have to skimp on the basics. In fact, I think that makes it even more important. Because if I'm having trouble seeing or hearing what's going on, then my focus is other places instead of the story and what you're trying to show me. So that's a good thing. So the acting was also very solid. I don't think anyone gave a bad performance here. There was one guy for me that was a little over the top, but it was a really small role, so it wasn't that big a deal. The story itself is solid. And it comes to, satisfying, albeit natural conclusion. And that's where my negatives start. Now, while the story is fine, there's nothing wrong with the story. It's been told before. Like I said, it's really straightforward. But there were no changes, no wrinkles. You guys know I love originality. And, this story itself isn't very original. And it played out exactly the way I thought it would once all the players were introduced and their roles were revealed. Another thing I have talked about in the past is movie logic. Now, no matter how crazy something is, as long as the movie makes it make sense, I will go with it. If in that movie's universe the sky is purple and everybody acts like the sky being purple is a normal thing, I'll go with it because that's what's in the movie and that's the logic. This is what a major issue is here for me, the movie logic. Now, the hitman appears to be a very cold and calculated professional, so I just didn't buy he would find himself in a position mainly for two reasons, and there's no spoilers here. Being the professional that he is, I can't see him not checking to make sure things were as he thought they were when he showed up. And when you watch it, you know I'm being vague here on purpose. You know what I'm talking about. And the second thing was, even if he somehow missed that, I think he does what needs to be done when he finds out things were not as he was told when he arrived. Furthermore, the other person's response, I didn't really buy that either. But I won't talk about that since that kind of gets into spoiler territory. I don't want to ruin it for anybody. But yeah, I don't want to beat this one up too much. Did I enjoy it? And yeah, I'm going to say yes, I did. This was actually a pleasant surprise. And to stay consistent with the Rotten scale, I would put this one right at a 68%. With the exception of how they shot some of the action scenes, they did this little blurry camera jumpy thing with some of the action scenes that I didn't really care too much for. All the rest of the technical stuff was spot on, which a lot of people get wrong, like I said, so that was big for me. Now, I'm not sure if this was a budget thing, but this really could have used another 20 minutes or so, 30 minutes maybe, but at least 20 minutes. Because with that extra time, what I would have done, or what I would like to have seen, a little bit more character development. For example, maybe the hitman is having a crisis of his conscience, or he's in a transitional phase in his life, which kind of would have explained his course of action and the way he handled things. And they could have used the extra time to kind of flesh out the scene with this other person, and we could have maybe understood a little bit better why she chose to accept what the hitman has said and just go along with everything. That right there would have tied things up nicely for me and would have been a better overall, more fleshed out story. But what they give you here is fine. Like I said, just missing a few little story elements for me. But overall, very good job. I would love to see what they could do with a much larger budget. Now, this is up on Prime Video to rent or buy, so definitely check this one out if you want a nice little low-budget drama. Now, with that being said, I'm going to close it out right here. If this is your first time, don't make it your last. Again, thank you for including me in your exclusive group of people that got a chance to watch this movie. Definitely appreciate it. I did enjoy it. And yeah, thank you everybody once again for tuning in to another episode. I greatly appreciate it. Up on all streaming platforms. This weekend I have, what do I have this weekend? I have a Christmas movie this weekend, but not the kind of Christmas movie you might be thinking about. It comes out in theaters. If you're paying attention, you already know what that is. And I might be forced to do another romance movie. Yes, I might have another rom-com in me that I gotta do. We'll see how the streaming services treat me this weekend, see what's in the top 10, and we'll figure that out. But anyway, thank you once again. I appreciate the support, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.